everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I've got a whole lot of 4mm fire polish beads out here. I'm going to make a necklace. The other day when I was putting everything in the new little art dot storage thing that I absolutely love, I found all kinds of just little bits of 4mm fire polish beads. Like, for instance, I have 4 of these yellow ones. I have 4 different kinds of red here. This one I have 4 of. This one I have 4 of. I've not counted these, but there's not many of them. I don't know what this color is, but I've only got 8 of them. I have 4 of these little purple ones right here. 4 of these little blue ones right here. And then in these trays, I have more, obviously, of those. This is a real good way to use up little bits of, if you've just got a few of some beads. Of course, they don't have to be 4mm. They can be 3mm, 6mm, whatever you got. If you've got just a few and you're wanting, it's real good for bead soup. If you've got bead soup that you just have, you know, maybe 4. Because I'm going to do a right angle weave necklace. And I'm only going to need 4 beads for each little box I'm going to make. So if you have 4, like I do, I have all kinds of random beads that I only have a few of. It's just a real good way to use up bead soup. Now, a lot of these obviously are probably, I've not counted them, but they're probably full strands. But there's some that I don't know that I would ever use. Like, this is a kind of a weird watermelon green. And this is kind of a psychedelic pink. And this is got purple and pink in it. And then there's some, and this is like yellow and pink in there. And then there's some more regular colors, like there's blue, and this there's like an opal blue, and these are kind of a teal, I guess is what these are. But I'm just going to mix all these. I'm going to make all these different colored little boxes and make just a really random, colorful necklace. I've not got a clasp out because I don't know that I'm even going to put a clasp on it. I might make it so long that I just sew it together into one continuous piece to go over the head. It just depends on how much length, I guess, I get out of it. I've got my 11.0 Miyuki galvanized silver seed beads that I'm going to use. I've got 2 size 11 tulip beading needles. I'm only going to use 1, but I always have an extra in case I lose one. I'm not going to need to, I mean, I'll have to add thread. I'm going to make it so long I'll have to add thread, but I'm not going to have to leave my needle in like I do sometimes to bookmark where I am, because I'll be able to tell. This is a really simple necklace. I'm using my 6-pound, I'm going to try my 6-pound fire line. I don't get a lot of use out of it, and I think it'll be fine for this, so I'm going to use it and smoke. I've got my chain nose pliers to flatten my thread so I can get it through the eye of the needle, and my scissors to cut my fire line. But like I said, I don't even know that I'm going to use a clasp, so if I don't, I won't need anything other than that. So I'm going to get some of my beads poured out here, and I'm going to get started, and I'll show you this crazy colorful necklace I'm about to make. Hold on. Okay, I've got some of my beads poured out here. Well, I got a lot of my beads poured out here. I'm going to get started. I've got a stop bead on, and I'm leaving about a 6-inch tail. I don't even know that I'm going to need that, because if I end up sewing it all into one necklace and not putting a clasp on it, I won't even need to sew that in, but I'm just in case, I'm going to leave it. This is really simple, really easy, really beginner friendly. I've had a lot of people comment on my videos and say they would like to get into bead weaving, but they feel like they can't do it. First of all, it's like I tell everybody, if I can do it, believe me, anybody can do it. But if you want to try to dip your toe into bead weaving, this is a really good project because it's really, really easy. I'm going to start with this red that I've only got 4 of, and I'm going to pick up a fire polish, an 11.0, fire polish, an 11.0, fire polish. I'm just picking up all 4 of my beads with 11.0s between them. That's what I got. I'll bring them all down here to my stop bead. And then I'm just going to sew through all of them again. And I might sew through them all a couple times because I'm not used to this thinner thread. I'm used to working with the 8-pound fire line, and I usually only use the 6-pound for peyote because peyote is such a tightly woven stitch anyway. It doesn't really need that much of as much of structure as the 8-pound gives it, but I'm not used to using the 6-pound for this kind of thing, so it's probably going to feel loose to me. I'm just going to sew around here until I come out the 11-0 opposite my stop bead. There. Now I'm going to make a little right angle weave unit with my 11-0s. I've already got one, so I just need 3 to make my little right angle weave box. So I'm going to pick up 3. I'm coming out the top. I'm going to go in the bottom. And now I'm just going to sew through all these beads again. I always reinforce my connection point. Just going to go back through them one bead at a time. Now I'm just going to sew till I'm coming out this 11-0 here on the end, so I can make my next little box. And there's no pattern at all to this. I just don't want to pick up the same color and put the same color right next to the same color, but other than that, there's absolutely no pattern. So I'm going to pick up 4 of these yellow here, and I'm going to put an 11-0 between them all, but I don't need to pick up an 11-0 to go between the first one and the last one, because that's what this little 11-0 is going to do. So I'm going to pick up my fire polish beads with 11-0 between. And you don't have to use fire polish. You can use rounds. You can mix fire polish and rounds. You can use bicones. You can mix fire polish. I probably should have done that. I probably should have looked through my bicones, because I'm sure I've got plenty of stray bicones that need to be used up. So this is what I got on my needle now. So I'm coming out the top of this 11-0. I'm just going to go on the bottom. Now I'm going to sew through all the beads again. Of course, you don't have to make a whole necklace this way. If you want to just make a bracelet like this, that's a good way to do this too. Now I'm going to sew till I come out this 11-0 here on the end here opposite my little 11-0 right angle weave unit. And I'm going to make another 11-0 right angle weave unit. I've already got one, so I'm just going to pick up 3. Coming out the top, I'm going to go in the bottom. I'm going to sew through all these again, just one bead at a time. Till I come out this 11-0 on the end here, so I can make my next little box. Now I think I'll use these blue here. I'm going to pick up a blue 11-0, blue 11-0, blue 11-0, and my blue. I'm coming out the top, just going to go in the bottom. I'm going to sew through all my beads again. And I'm going to sew till I come out this 11-0 over here that's opposite my little right angle weave unit of 11-0s. Now I'm going to make another little right angle weave unit of 11-0s. Already got one, just need 3. Coming out the top, I'm going to go on the bottom. Sew through all the beads again. Sew around till I come out this 11-0 here on the end. There, so I can make my next box. I think I'll do these pink ones next. Pick up 4 of them with 11-0s in between. Coming out the top, I'm going to go in the bottom. That's what I got on my needle. Coming out the top of the 11-0, I'm going to go in the bottom. Sew around all the beads again. And I'm going to sew around here until I'm coming out the 11-0 opposite this little right angle weave unit of 11-0s here. I'm going to make another little right angle weave unit of 11-0s. I've already got one, I just need 3. Coming out the top, I'm going to go on the bottom. Sew around all the beads again, just one at a time. Now I'm going to sew around here till I come out this 11-0 on the end here so I can do my next little box. And now I'm just going to do another little box of my fire polish and then another little box of my right angle little 11-0s. I'm just going to keep doing this until I get the length that I want. When I get to where I need to add thread, I'll come back and do it on camera, but it's really simple. It's just like I add thread to anything else. I'm just going to go back through and tie 3 half-inch knots and add a new thread in, but I'll come back when I get to that point, so I'll be back. Okay, this is what I've got so far. See, very colorful. Now I'm going to just end off this thread just like I always do. I'm just going to sew through a few beads and go under a thread bridge and go through my loop. Bring my thread down slowly. Go through a couple more beads. I'll tie my knots up here in between these fire polish beads. Just go under this thread bridge and go through my loop and Be careful here, bring your thread down between the beads. Go through a few more beads. Go under a thread bridge. Go through my loop. Bring my thread down between the beads. And go through a couple of more beads and cut off my thread. Now I've got a new thread and I'm got a stop bead on it, and I'm leaving about a 6-inch tail, just enough to come back and sew in later. And then I'm just going to go back in here and pull my thread through until my stop bead stops it. And go through a few beads. Go up here between these fire polish beads and tie a 1/2-inch knot. Go through my loop. Bring the thread down between the beads. Go through a couple more beads. Go under a thread bridge. Go through my loop. Bring my thread down slowly. Go through, sew up through here until I'm coming out the bead I need to be coming out of, which is going to be this this 11-0 here on the end, right here. Now I just need to make a little right angle weave unit with my 11-0s here. Coming out the top of this one, I'm going to go in the bottom. And go around all these beads again, just one at a time. I'm coming out this 11 on the end here. And now I'm just going to pick my next color and continue on. I think I've decided to go ahead and make this long enough to go over the head and not to add a clasp on to it. So whenever I get it as long as I want it and I'm ready to sew it together, I'll come back and show you how I'm going to do that. So I'll be back. Okay, I know you can't see it all, but I've got 32 inches of very colorful necklace here. And I've laid it out. I'm going to sew it together here without a clasp, which is really easy to do. I just have got it laid out. I've made sure it's not twisted. I've got all the little boxes laying up on the same side so that it's not twisted when I sew it together. So, let's see. I'm coming out of this 11-0 right here on this blue one, the bottom. I'm going to pick up an 11-0 and I'm going to go up the bottom of this 11-0 on this red one. I'll try to leave it here on my mat so you can hopefully see what I'm doing. I'm just going to pull that through. And I got a knot in my thread right here at the end of the video. Okay, no I didn't. It was just wrapped around itself. It was almost a knot. So there's my little 11-0 right there that I just put on. Coming out from the bottom of this, going up the bottom of this one. Now I'm going to pick up another 11-0 and I'm going to go from the top of this one down the top of this one. And that just makes that little right angle weave unit right there in the middle of those. And it's a completely seamless necklace. There's no clasp or anything, just all joined together with these little right angle weave units. Now I'm going to pick it up here so I can sew around through this several times. And I had already taken my stop bead off of the first side that I started with and sewed it in to get it out of the way before I did this part. So I'm just going to sew around this little right angle weave unit that I just made. Several times to make sure it's sewed together real good. And now I'm just going to take this thread and sew it in like I did when I ended my thread. When I needed to add on thread, I'm going to just tie 3 half-inch knots. And then I'll come back and try to get this all in one picture so you can see it all together. So I'll be back. Okay, there we go. A very long, very colorful, very easy to do right angle weave necklace. Like I said, this is a really good stash buster if you have a bunch, some random beads that you're wanting to use up. It's really beginner friendly if you're just starting into bead weaving. It's very easy to do. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook and Instagram and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope you all have a great day. Take care.